me tell you where we are broadcasting from, and that perhaps would actually enable you to tell the whole world what's really happening. To the Ukrainian parliamentarian who's joining us on this broadcast, Republic Media Network, one of the few global channels to have covered a length and breadth of Ukraine. We are currently standing in Zhytomyr, where a residential building, a hospital, was damaged. The mayor has spoken to Republic TV. He says that the Russian aerial bombardment that's taking place has led to a large-scale devastation. What is it that you would like to tell our viewers? What's the current situation in terms of the offensives that have been carried out by the Russian side?
We are fighting on every single front line. The reality is that for Ukraine, this is a battle for our existence, our very survival. And us, the biggest nation in Europe, is facing this battle alone. The reality is Russia is breaking every single rule of the international community. That country which is disregarding the rules of the national world order needs to be punished for that, needs to be expunged from the global community. It needs to feel what it actually results in, to, again, break any semblance of international law in our region. So the fact of the matter is we need to reconsider, and all the countries around the world need to reconsider their relationship with Russia, because Russia is showing its true face to the world right now. As far as the battle going on in Kyiv, it's basically a battle for the outskirts. We are trying to keep the city from being surrounded. Our capital city needs to be supplied. That's why the west supply routes are kept open by our brave soldiers. I'm joining them every single day, as well as bringing different supplies to them and letting them carry on the fight fully armed and fully dressed and fully well-fed. The point is that, again, we'll keep the Russians away from our supply lines and keep preparing our capital for whatever Russians throw at us, because we are sticking with it. We are keeping our country ours no matter what.
Also, what I would like to ask you is that do you believe that the room for negotiation with Russia has been completely closed, given the fact that despite the kind of requests that have been made by your president to the world, even to Russia, that perhaps there is still time for them to withdraw? That's not happening. So do you believe that the room for negotiation with Russia has been completely shut?
Russia thinks that. Yesterday there was supposed to be humanitarian relief and humanitarian convoy coming out of some of the besieged cities in the south. The Russians shelled that convoy. Russians shelled those civilians. And again, Russia is showing its true face time and time again. And I'm glad that the world is waking up to the reality of what Russia tries to do in Ukraine and all over the world. The question is, how will the world react to this unbelievable, indescribable travesty that Russia is perpetrating in the biggest state in Europe and trying to destroy it for the sake of its own imperialistic ambitions, trying to bring together its colonial past in this country, trying to rekindle the empires long gone. So the point is, again, the world needs to see this what it is. Colonial land grab of Ukraine by Russia needs to respond in kind, because we are battling this out till the very end.
Mr. Yurash, you are one of the youngest ever parliamentarian of Ukraine. There is an image that has gone viral on social media, that is of you picking up a gun. Tell us what made a parliamentarian like you pick up a gun, who is essentially a lawmaker. Do you really believe that a lawmaker should have really picked up the gun? What made you really pick up that gun?
This is the battle for everybody right now. Ukraine is attacked from all the sides in all different ways. We have vacuum bombs being thrown at Ukrainian cities. We have aerial bombardment. We have tanks. We have Grad missile systems shooting at our soldiers, civilians, cities. And the point is, this is a battle for everyone, in which everyone matters. Everyone should be involved. So the point, there's no difference right now, parliamentarian or just regular citizen. Everybody is part of this battle. And for example, in Kyiv, all that are staying are picking up weapons to try and find a way to resist Russian invasion. And the point is that there's no difference in status right now. Everybody is joining in and fighting this out till the very end.
Since you're a parliamentarian, Mr. Yurash, let me ask you this question. There is this news report that does the round every 24 hours. That is about your president. Whether your president is actually in Ukraine, because Russia seems to be suggesting that your president has left the country and he's perhaps addressing the people of Ukraine sitting in Poland. Is there any truth attached to it?
He's sitting basically less than a kilometer away from where I try to work and prepare those defenses in Kyiv. I mean, he is staying here. He is sticking with it. Not just him, the prime minister, the leadership of the country is all in Kyiv because, again, this is our capital. And to leave it is, again, something we cannot allow for. And he made it very clear that he has the wherewithal to stand up to whatever happens in Kyiv and to stick with it till the very end. Because, again, we aren't giving up our capital. We are fighting for it no matter what. From the president to the youngest ever MP, such as myself, leadership of the country is staying here and fighting for everything that we hold dear.
Can I ask you this question because you are currently in Kyiv? You are currently in Kyiv. The image that is right now on our screens also is you picking up that gun. Can you tell our viewers across the world, what is the current situation in Kyiv? What is your assessment? How close are the Russians right now?
Russians have a huge column stationed north of the town where they want to first destroy our supply lines around Kyiv. So they aren't able to. We're fighting them back every single day. And right now I'm picking up different supplies and some military equipment to travel to the western part of the outskirts to provide the support there, humanitarian military, for our resistance to be ever stronger there. So the point is, again, we are not letting our capital be sieged with everything we have in every single way. So the point is Kyiv is getting ready for battle. Kyiv is getting ready for the siege, and Kyiv is getting ready to repulse the Russian city of millions will not be just easily succumb to the Russian menace.
Do you believe in your assessment of the situation right now that the situation would only worsen in the next 24 to 48 hours in and around Kyiv? What is your assessment like?
Well, that's why I'm going to those outskirts to see the situation there. But as far as the future of our situation in Kyiv, that depends on the Kremlin and what they decide to do, whether they contain this madness or they are going to restrain themselves or allow at least the humanitarian relief, which we supposedly agreed on in the negotiations we had in Belarus. But the point is, again, it depends on the Kremlin, what they decide to do.
I want to ask you this question. Because we as a news network, we were very close to the Belarus border when reports essentially came in that there is a possibility that Belarus could join the Russian army. What is the latest situation? Has Belarus actually joined the Russian army? Do you think some of the offensives that are being carried out, is in a joint operation of Russia and Belarus?
The fact of the matter is, from the Belarusian border with Ukraine, we had Russian troops coming into Ukraine. So the point is, Belarus has already chosen its sides in every single way. So the Belarusian army, it seems right now that they are unwilling to join this battle, but we'll see what happens. Because again, the situation is extremely fluid, too fluid to be sure about the future of this battle. But again, Ukraine is fighting for everything it has. No matter what Russians throw at us, we shall resist, we shall fight on, we shall battle to the end.
One last question before I let you go, Mr. Yurash. That is, what is it that you would like to tell the whole world today? A lot of people are here right now in Ukraine trying to send across images of the kind of destruction. In fact, we, as one of the largest Indian news network, we have the largest reporters on the ground sending back images, not just to India, but to the whole world of what's really happening. So I want to take this opportunity to ask you this question about what is it that you would like to tell the world, because many are saying that you are caught in the crossfire. You are hedging your bets a little too much on the West, while the West is firing it from the shoulders of innocent Ukrainians. What is it that you would like to say?
this is battle for our existence. We don't really care whether we have this, that, and the other. We will fight on because, again, this is our nation we're trying to protect. We hope the conscience of the world will remind the world of its role in this battle and will give the world the strength and willingness to actually help the side who's defending their freedom and their future from Russian imperialism and Russian colonialism. The fact of the matter is that, again, the world is waking up step by step, and we hope the world will do the right thing after exhausting other options. So nothing is enough, nothing is plentiful, all is welcome. So every bit of support you send is welcome, is needed. Every prayer that you send is relevant to us. Again, we are a God-fearing nation, so for us, every single support in every single way is very much needed and welcome. So thank you, world, but again, so much more is needed to defeat the second biggest army in the world.
Well, so much more is needed. That's what the parliamentarian, the youngest parliamentarian of Ukraine, has to say to Republic Media Network. Thank you, Mr. Yurash, for joining us on this broadcast. We're just hoping that you and your country stay safe and perhaps this mindless war ends sometime soon. And the reason why I'm calling this mindless war is because what's really happening on the ground, dear viewers, is that innocent lives are being lost. It is only by a whiff that we've not seen the kind of casualties one would have actually witnessed if the bomb would have been dropped when children were inside a school about 100 meters from where we are broadcasting right now. Earlier in the day, we got you images of the school. Perhaps we could also play that out in a short while from now. But where I'm standing right now, what I'll do is move out of this place and also take a look at the other areas, because this place where the bombing took place, you can see this was a large truck that was kept here. There is a residential area, a parking area that has been completely demolished. And on just right on the opposite of this road is a maternity hospital that actually had faced the brunt of this aerial bombing that took place. So that's on your screens right now is the very hospital that bore the brunt of this massive aerial bombardment that took place. And let me tell you this, that when this aerial bombardment took place, not many understood what exactly would be the strategy of the Russian army. The reason why I'm saying this is that the latest report suggests that just about a few days ago, when the bombing starting here in Zhytomyr, 3 airfields in Belarus was actually activated. 3 airfields, and these 3 airfields that were activated, I'm told that my colleague Andre is also on this broadcast, and Andre is somewhere closer to the hospital. Andre, can you hear me? Andre, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We'll try and reconnect with Andre in a short while from you. Andre, I'll request you to go a little closer to the hospital where you are standing and perhaps show our viewers. While you go to the hospital, you can tell us what's really happening, and meanwhile I'll also tell our viewers of what exactly am I witnessing, because these are heartbreaking images of this war. Let me just show, I'll ask Rawatji to come a little closer and look at this, rummaging through the debris. Are people here, and this is exactly what I witnessed in other places also. We went to the school, we saw a school staff entering the school and perhaps trying to collect whatever remains in that particular school, and now you see another gentleman here behind me, perhaps rummaging through whatever they can take, whatever hasn't really been demolished. Take a look at this. I'll stay with this image because this image will tell you what really is happening on the ground. This image will tell you that a mindless war can just uproot the life of every individual. Perhaps they're not even connected in any ways, but today their life has been completely destroyed. Take a look at this image. Shows a life that existed has now been completely destroyed. Andre, let me bring you in right now. You are closer to the hospital. What is it that you are witnessing? What is it that you can tell our viewers? Because the mayor was saying that there were infants in this hospital when the attack took place.
Викликайте поліцію, може тут всім домовлено, викликайте поліцію. If you want call police. Без проблем. And do you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Andre. Go ahead. Tell our viewers what is it that you are seeing. Yes, I can hear you, Andre. Go ahead. Tell our viewers what is it that you are seeing.
So I can see like the hospital. You can see the windows that are being replaced with something like wooden. And as I know, as we've been told, that Russians drop bombs on this building, and nobody. There is no casualties, but the building itself is damaged like a little bit. Yeah.